Where else are you going to get a show like what's coming up right now, the Dream Journal? This is one of the most popular shows here that we have, where Catherine Bell, who is a dream, what is your title?
Oh, a dream coach.
A dream coach, okay. Yeah. And with Experiential Dreamwork. And she is a Jungian-based dream person who I have had the pleasure of working with several times as a dreamer as well. This is a show, it's interactive. The guests, each week you have a guest that's different and brings a new perspective to the dream work and to, what our dreams are all about and how we can use these to enhance our life experiences.
Right. So, one thing I always say on the show is that we want to make the algorithm work in our favor by, leaving reviews and all that. So similarly, be sure to mention that the Dream Journal is one of your favorite shows. There'll be an opportunity for you to say what your favorite shows are, and that lets the station know how valuable this is. I mean, this is a pretty unique phenomenon to have a whole hour every week to talk about dreams.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to do. Just go to ksqd.org, hit that donation button. It will tell you what the steps are to make a donation. Please consider also becoming a sustaining member at any level, $10, $25, $50 a month. It'll be automatically taken out, and that way the station is... we know then that those funds are going to be there. It makes a huge difference to us. And remember, if you're using a credit card online, you consider using PayPal because that saves us a little bit of money.
It's the modern way to do it, right?
It's the modern, safe way to do it. Yes, okay.
Stevie Pop, thank you so much for being in. You'll be back in half an hour, so
I will.
We'll chat a little bit more.
I'm not going anywhere. You
Thanks
bet.
so much.
Stay tuned for a great show, folks.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with listeners like you. In the house behind, the life you find is something understood. A dream can be meaningful even if you don't know what it means. Today's music, which you'll hear in just a moment, is created fresh for you every week, as it always is, by Rick Lovell. And the name of today's music is called As It Seems. How to use dreams to help you become the shaman of your own transformational process. Today's guest, artist Victoria Rabinowe, we'll talk about mining dreams as a source for creativity. I'm your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. We are also a weekly podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review. But most importantly, let your friends know about the Dream Journal podcast. I'm all about spreading interest in dreams. And so why not find out which of your friends are interested too? You may be surprised. You can find archives of the Dream Journal at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those places. Also at ksqd.org/the-dream-journal. And please follow Experiential Dreamwork at #TheDreamJournal and at Experiential Dreamwork on both Instagram and Facebook. All right, let's turn to the phones and say hello, Victoria. Can you hear us? Hello.
I sure can.
Oh, fabulous.
Hi, Catherine.
I have a little bit of anxiety about these connections, as listeners will well know. So glad to have you on the air. You're coming through loud and clear.
Thank you.
Excellent. So let me introduce our guest. Victoria Rabinowe is an international lecturer and workshop leader. She is the author and illustrator of Conversations with Psyche, a dreamer's guide to soul-stirring creativity. Victoria offers innovative approaches to dream work compatible with the wild and willful nature of dreams and will help you tap into the creative potential of dreams. Her webpage is victoriadreams.com. You can find her on social media at victoria.rabinowe. and also at Victoria Dreams _in_Santa Fe. All right, Victoria, great to have you on the show. Congratulations on getting your book out there.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. It was major effort.
Yes. Now, you are always a very notable figure at the Dream conferences with your black and white attire and glasses. That is something that is very notable about you. And do you want to say anything about why that's so meaningful to you?
Well, actually, it started when I wrote my first book, which is in very high-key black and white graphics. And my teaching assistant at the time, we went to Montreal to introduce the book, and she suggested we wear black and white to match the book.
Oh.
And it was so noticeable between the two of us that people kept asking about the black and white, and then they would ask about the book, and then they would buy the book, and the rest is history. I've been black and white ever since.
Yes, and there are dozens of gorgeous black and white illustrations in this book. So with this book is an experience. It is not just a reference or something to inspire you, although it is all those things. It's also an experience with these beautiful, what are they, drawings? How do you do those black and white images?
Well, interestingly enough, I have an inherited tremor, so I do most of my artwork with my non-dominant hand.
Oh, wow.
So so I take a lot of my drawings, and then I put them into Procreate on my tablet, and I size them and give them the high-key contrast on the tablet. So it's a very interesting process. And I love doing the illustrations. And actually, I'm more of a graphic artist than a writer. I've become a writer over the years.
Right.
But my original work was all illustrative.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's interesting that because it fits so well in the black and white, and these are all these very very dark black images on the white page, and so they're very striking figures with textures and funny shapes, the way dreams are. Right, the wild.
Well, exactly.
Right.
And that's part of the one of the interesting ways to work with dreams is with your non-dominant hand,
okay.
Whether you're drawing or writing, because the sensor that says the dream has to have a specific meaning is turned off. And things surprise you when you work with your non-dominant side of your brain, which is pretty much where the dreams function.
Right. Yeah. So what's next? Like, where do you want to go? Because I guess I want to repeat back to you the quote that I put into the teaser that I was really struck by in the book, which is that you say that using dreams can help you become the shaman of your own transformational process. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing to say about dream work. And you suggest many ways of working with dreams, from writing to drawing, and not just, writing, but then like 6 different kinds of poems that you can make from your dream. So there is so many ways that you can use these dreams to transform you.
Well, I started, before getting into dream work, I started with active imagination and shamanic journeying. And so it's very similar to what we call dream re-entry. So a lot of us are mystified by our dreams. We have no idea what they are or what they mean. And one of the reasons that I work with dreams through poetry and writing and artwork is because we can re-enter that dream state in the studio in a way that we actually become lucid. And we disengage again from our analytical, critical, judgmental self, and we become explorers inside that world, very much like a shamanic journey.
Right.
And what happens is hard to describe because it's not a scientific method. It's of the imagination, and it's a mystery to hard sciences who need to explain this means that, or dreams have this function or that function. This is so far beyond rational thinking. And thanks to quantum physics, we now have a way of describing dreams that we didn't have before when science was trying to figure out, well, what does this mean? It's much more poetic, our minds. And I call it the genius of the night mind, where our images that come through, they're confusing because really each image exists on many, many levels. So one dream can be about many things. Our transformation, of course, always. But how does that work? Through our childhood, through our physical health, our spiritual feelings, even our political bent and our future as well. So each image is very dense, and that's not compatible with hard science that says one image must mean one thing. It's much more of the creative imaginal world, where we can imagine how one thing holds a universe of ideas.
Right, and any really good piece of art, whether it's visual or written, prose or poetry or any kind of acting even really, has multiple levels. Like there's many different meanings for like a certain painting might evoke different feelings with different people, and it may people might have different memories. And so there's a way that dreams are like inner art.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it, Catherine.
Okay. Good. So now I wanted to get to, you said you wanted to talk about your individual process for working on a dream in the morning. Like, what do you do when you first wake up? Because so often I wake up and I just have like shards, if anything.
Well, shards are perfectly wonderful. And we tend to be judging. When we wake up, we have this crazy dream or fragments or pieces. So I just scribble them down, whether they mean anything or not. And then when I actually get up and get a cup of tea. And although some people love to work in handwriting in their journal, I like to work on my keyboard. I'm just a computer kind of gal.
Yeah.
and I like to record the dream also because I can't read my writing.
Right.
I record the dream and fill in all the details. Now, I might wake up with no idea of what I dreamt, but I look over on the side of my bed and there's some scribbling, and suddenly, just because there's some notes, I get much more recall.
Even without reading the notes, you're saying?
No.
Oh, I was going to say it could be like, wow, I wrote something.
No, there are the notes, but then I get much more recall about that dream, even though it was sketchy. And so I type up the dream with as much detail as possible. Everything's about specificity with dreams, is as much exact information as I can get. And I type my dreams into poetic stanzas, prose poems. They don't rhyme, there's no meter, but I like breaking up the dream story instead of long paragraphs of details. I break it up into short lines, which really gives some punch to each image. And it's just a very pleasing way to record the dream. And also, visually, you can read it much better and you get it much faster. So that's my process. And then I generally write a log about what was going on the last few days. Because if I journal the night before, I may hit some of the big high points, but the dream the day after is hitting strange points that may not be the big events of the day before, but maybe some corner of some small incident that may have seeped its way into the dream story.
It's always fascinating what incidents the dreams latch onto. I'm like, really? Did that really matter that much to me? I guess it did.
That's right. So I do that, and also I'll always give it a title and a date, and make the title's really important because it means that you've looked at your dream and you've synthesized some theme or some idea about it. Again, whether it means anything or not, you've got a title that you can find this dream again and you will recall quickly if you've just encapsulated one idea from it. Not only that, but then if you are putting your dreams on the computer, I can pull up all my snake dreams and all my all the themes that I want. So I keep a big folder for years and years of these dreams, and then I can go back and find the same theme over and over again if that's what I want to work with.
Yeah, I'm a fan of electronic as well, and I find that being able to search through my dreams is extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try the prose poem idea, though. I have never tried that. I think that's you give lots of examples in your book, and it does really highlight the specific images. So I'm going to try some of that.
Good.
Yeah, and it kind of also short circuits the brain's tendency to like look for narrations, and often dreams are like little segments that may or may not fit together, and maybe that's okay.
It is okay.
Oh no, are you sure?
Permission granted.
Oh, phew. Thank goodness.
I think a lot of people feel that A, they have to dream every night to be dreamers, and B, that they have to have a complete story. And I don't know about you, Catherine, but I don't think I've ever captured a dream in its entirety.
Oh no, never.
There's always those missing pieces, and what did they say? I can't remember the words.
Right, and something came before. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So I think that for listeners, it's really important. All of these judgments that that's not a good dream, that's not a big dream, that's just that doesn't mean anything, or it's just a fragment. All and everything that you can capture, even if it's one word. I have a dreamer who did a 20-page art dream book from a single word in a dream.
Wow. Okay. So that is valuable to just have whatever you get.
That's right. It's really important to suspend judgment. And I'll have to tell you, I still do it. I still wake up and say, oh, not that dream, that wasn't it. And then I say, Victoria, you promised yourself you would keep track of everything. So I write it down, I scribble it down, and I go to the computer in the morning with my tea. And I go, I can't believe I didn't think that this dream was cool. I was flying. I was breathing underwater. And it was we are so present in the dream state that we have no monkey mind that tells us that we shouldn't be flying or we shouldn't be breathing underwater. So it's of course that's what I'm doing, so it's nothing special until you wake up and realize, oh my goodness, I was doing the impossible. And then you just say, why did I judge that dream?
Right.
It's a jewel.
There's something there about self-judgment, I think. That's my theory, that I'm used to kind of censoring myself and saying, oh, I'm not worth it, I'm not special, whatever it is. And so that dream isn't special.
That's a good point, Catherine, because we do all do that to ourselves. And actually, in my book, that's part of what I'm trying to get across, is that I give 36 different dreams about why I can't write. Okay, so I am a visual artist, and I, along with probably all my readers, suffer from imposter syndrome. Who am I to write a book? How dare I even consider such a thing? And so I show in the dreams about being called to write this book, but then come all the dreams that condemn me, that say, you have no business doing this. There's a flying potato that can't get off the ground. I'm trying to take a real high jump outside my dream studio, and I realize I can't jump. And all of these self-defeating dreams, and then come the calling dreams again. And the Buddha is behind me, and the Dalai Lama is holding my feet. And I realize, I try to show through those dreams, and they're snippets, they're just short dreams, how the artistic process unfolds and how the understanding of dreams unfold. And when I talk about art, by the way, I'm talking about the creative spirit. I'm not talking about framed art for the wall. I'm not talking about gallery representation. I'm talking about our own distinctive creative, imaginative world. And it's not a matter of whether it's good art or bad art. If it's a big dream or a little dream, it's all part of our own breathtaking imagination.
That is beautiful.
So we're very fortunate as dreamers, and we all dream. I'm sure you've told your readers that before. I would say, too, with the Buddha dreams is that I am not a spiritually evolved being. I am not a Buddhist, although I live in Santa Fe, so you can't really escape it.
Is that right?
Spirituality is not required for dream work, nor is artistic talent. So even though I don't believe in angels, I don't believe in spirituality formally, and yet these characters come through the dreams. If an angel appears in your dream and welcomes you with open arms, you have a choice. You can say, I don't believe in angels and this dream doesn't mean anything. Or you can say, well, why would I choose that choice? Why not say, okay, I'm not a card-carrying angel believer, but an angel's appeared. Why not just say, wow, that's wonderful. I accept the blessing. At any rate, that's my short form of my belief in the images that show up are not necessarily familiar. And we can also dream of things that we have no knowledge of. We can dream about places we've never been, and we can also time travel. Well, we are all time traveling. We go back to our childhood and mix up the images of our youth with our current relationships and with the current climate, politically, physically, and the future. So all of these things get mixed up in this crazy soup. And it's, again, if we just realize this is our imagination creating this entire world within, and we accept it as meaningful, then it is meaningful. Why would we say it's not? Why would we throw out a third of our lives? Why do so many people say that dreams are just a bunch of mind junk floating around? And they've never really taken the time to open them up. And so, Catherine, you and I are part of the international community of dreamers in the International Association for the Study of Dreams, which I think is really an important resource for people who are curious about learning about their dreams. Because this society, this is so unusual because it does welcome dreamers from all persuasions. So we have hard scientists, soft scientists, psychotherapists, artists, shamans, musicians. We have people who just count the number of dreams we dream, or ethnicity, or spiritual beliefs, all kinds of backgrounds, all in one big soup. And that's pretty unusual. Most conferences have one persuasion, and they pretty much stick to that. So the International Association for the Study of Dreams is a gold mine for anyone who's interested in furthering their knowledge. I think what I'd like to do is read something from my introduction that kind of gives my basic philosophy. So this is the opening of my book, and it's called Duende. Dreams express themselves with duende, the fiery flamenco spirit that stirs the emotions with a mysterious power that humans feel, but no philosopher can explain. Duende speaks with the language of the blood in all its many aspects. When we dig into the marrow of our dreams, we will inevitably open old wounds, and we will confront the things we fear most about ourselves and the world. But the dreams will also release a powerful, immutable force that exerts unseen energy. And as a result, we will sing our songs with creative force. We'll write paint and dance with savage authenticity. And the voice that emerges will be uniquely ours. And it will be the voice of our souls that pull us down deep into our own being.
We're going to bring back to Victoria Rabinowe in just a few moments.
This is community-supported radio, KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, and it is so easy for you to make a donation to help keep programs like the Dream Journal on the air. We are dependent upon you, our listeners, to keep us going. We are a KSQD.org. We're an org. We're not a com. We don't have any commercial advertisers. We don't have any corporate bosses telling us what to do or what to program or what to say. So when Catherine does her show, she is the curator of the show, and she is able to come up with different information every week on the aspect of dreaming, something that you're not going to find anywhere else that I'm aware of on community radio within the Monterey Bay area.
Right. Well, anywhere on public radio or anywhere else in the country. There's a few radio stations, but they do, like, there's podcasters. There's maybe half a dozen podcasters around the world, really, who do something, and I am the only one who does a live show anymore.
Wow.
There used to be a live show, but now there's this. I'm the only one who takes dreams live on the air.
And you've been doing this for 5 years.
5.5 years.
Yeah.
It's 280 shows.
Wow.
So
coming up on 300.
It's coming up on 300. It has been an amazing journey, and I just love it. And I find that I get so much out of talking with our dream experts. We have people talking about lucidity and psychedelics and big dreams and Jungian dreams and ancestor dreams.
And even some of my crazy dreams.
That's true.
Past, yes.
Steve has been a dreamer for us several times, which has been wonderful. It's great to have people share their dreams live on the air. There's something that's very powerful about just speaking a dream out loud.
That is true. Giving vocalization to it. I mean, you can write it down and you can record it on your device or something, but when you actually have to sort of face it in a public venue, in a sense, or to be sharing it with another human being, it makes a difference.
There's something very innately valuable about that, and the Dream Journal is a really unique place that you can do that live for free on the air, and we just would love to have you show your support for this incredibly unique program.
If you value the type of programming you're listening to right now, it is very easy for you to make a donation. You can either go to ksqd.org and hit the donation button, follow the links, or you can call us here at the studio. Our number is 831-900-5773. That's 900 KSQD. And consider making a sustaining contribution if you can, at whatever level is good for you. $10, $20, $50 a month. That really helps us maintain the stability of our programming.
Yeah, exactly. And it's if it's just $10 a month, it's just like a streaming service.
That's right.
You get value from those stations, and your $10 doesn't mean so much to Netflix, but it really means a lot to us that we really get all of our funding from donations. There are no there are no other pots of money but you, the listener. We are broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz and co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU. And our guest today is Victoria Rabinowe, and her webpage is victoriadreams.com. And she has a new book which has just been published, which is called Conversations with Psyche, A Dreamer's Guide to Soul-Stirring Creativity. And it's an amazing combination of dream guidance and inspiration, and it's a journey of itself with dozens of beautiful illustrations. So it's called Conversations with Psyche. I highly recommend it. Before we say hi to Victoria, I have one more announcement. which is that next week our guest will be Alaya Danu, who will speak about ancestral knowledge, dream revelation, and healing with ancestral dreams. I hope you can tune in for that special show with Alaya Danu. You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook by following hashtag The Dream Journal. Nobody was using the hashtag, so I took it over. So if you want to find out about upcoming shows, you can look at hashtag The Dream Journal or follow at Experiential Dreamwork. So welcome back to The Dream Journal. Today's guest is Victoria Rabinowe. Victoria, how are you?
Hi, Catherine. I'm ready for more.
That's great. Sounds like you're hearing me in real time again. I don't know what happened. There was just a weird glitch, but you soldiered on, and I loved you have a lot of really good stuff that you shared with us. So thank you so much for being on the show and for carrying on as best you can, as we all do.
It's all a dream, Catherine.
You know, it happens that way in dreams too. We're like, what is happening?
That's right.
Just carry on. Excellent. So one of the things that we were chatting about, actually, was just this morning by email, is we opened the show by talking about your predilection for black and white, clothing and eyeglasses and watch bands and all that, as kind of eye-catching thing. And you talked about, and I have like this very meaningful zebra dream. And you wanted,
yes, you do.
Yes, I have an amazing, and I wanted to say, what do you want to say something about zebras? I'm happy to share my dream.
Yes, why don't you just
the drop of a hat? I will share a dream.
Yes, go ahead. Share the dream so it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So this was one of the real pivotal dreams in my life, and it was a super simple, just this little fragment, a shard. But I like to think of them as nuggets. Like there's something really valuable about this nugget. And that I am standing on a kind of a savanna, and in front of me are these zebras, and they're kind of romping around. They're like romping past me. I see their backs. I see they're shaking their heads. I see foals, and it's just these black and white backs. And that is the entire dream. And yet I had an amazing experience in working with this dream. And there's so many ways to work with the dreams. But this one I worked in a retreat with we did a kind of embodiment, and I put myself in the savannah, and we had people in the group play the zebras romping around, and I realized I felt like I was one of the herd. Like they were not looking at me like I was a predator or anything dangerous, or they were like romping with me. And so I got this amazing sense of belonging. Like I am part of that herd, fierce and wild. Like zebras are not tamed. You cannot put a saddle on a zebra. So there's something about that wildness and that companionship and being together with a community that I was really starting at the time to understand what it felt like to belong. Like after decades of feeling alone and isolated and just not knowing who I was, or not feeling like I was part of anything, I was starting to feel part of a community. And I really thank the dreams for getting me there. And this particular dream was a huge opening in terms of letting myself start to feel like one of many. And the IASD, which Victoria mentioned before the break, is part of that. The International Association for the Study of Dreams is kind of my tribe, my dream herd, my zebra herd. The Dazzle's called the Dazzle Zebras.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Uh-huh. Well, so Catherine, you touched on one of the most wonderful ways of working with dreams. Rather than trying to analyze the dream or rationalize the dream, you actually enacted the dream. And that's one of the sections in my book is the theater piece, is actually acting out the piece, also letting the images speak, and let a zebra have a voice, decorate a panel with stripes, just keep working the notion of zebra, which is like what you talk about, bringing issues into consciousness by simply hanging around with the dream re-entry through art or poetry or theater, in so many ways of just simply being zebra and being zebra nests and thinking about all the different ways that zebras affect us. It's not a horse, as you pointed out. all attempts to domesticate zebras have been unsuccessful. You cannot put a saddle or a harness on a zebra,
No.
or get it to carry our loads. So the zebra has that horse energy, but as you said, so independent. And so one of the things that I like to do when I'm working a dream is just sit around before I do any work on it and just wonder about zebras, and maybe go to the encyclopedia, or maybe go to the dictionary and look up what is zebra, and thinking about how there are, you've already touched on several things, that they're wild, and the patterns on their stripes, it is a pattern that identifies them as one of a tribe, as in one of your dream tribes, but they're also unique, like our fingerprints and our faces. So that's kind of interesting to think about.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Nice.
And then also, I use the free dictionary online. It's called Free Dictionary for your listeners. And it has a thesaurus, it has a dictionary, it also has idioms. So I looked at idioms, and there's a proverb: a zebra doesn't change its stripes. The stripes are about one's honest beliefs and convictions. And so if we think about you as an individual, well, if I am you, if this is my dream, because it's not.
That's the
It's
etiquette,
my
though.
dream.
That is proper dream etiquette.
That's right. In my dream, it's very much about this unambiguous black and whiteness. And it's also, by the way, black and white is about printed matter. You know the old joke about what is black and white.
And red all over. That's the rest of
right.
that.
and you and I both are writers, and we work, and probably I will assume that you struggle with your writing as much as I do.
Yes, indeed.
So here's this black and white. There's no gray. It's totally unambiguous. It's very specific. And with Dreamwork, that's what we're looking for, is specificity. And trying to stay really true to our nature and not pretending to be otherwise. And so there's a certain clarity in zebra-ness and black and whiteness. And also the whole idea of gathering with like-minded individuals as in a herd. And it's so true with dreamers. We can feel so isolated. I'm sure that some listeners out there don't know that there is a tribe in the international community of like-minded people. So Facebook, all the social media are filled with community. So to your listeners, I'd like to just say that you're not alone.
It's true. And I also, just like as I often say at the beginning of the show, that I bet some of your friends are also interested in dreams, but they think they're all alone too, because dreams are not something that we talk about much in this culture. And yet, if you kind of just like drop a few hints, or maybe mention a podcast or two, but just to know that, let people know you're interested in dreams. You may be surprised. Some of your friends are too, and that's the seed, the kernel of a dream group. Is just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people together talking about dreams is the most powerful way to explore dreams, is in a group.
Well, this is my interest, my main interest, Catherine. And the reason I wrote the book is to encourage people to gather together in herds, small pods, and talk about dreams. And so the book talks about the proper way to do that. We don't want to analyze each other when we get together with the dream group. We want to, what we call, open the dream. We just want to see what's in there and to explore zebra-ness without trying to say, well, Catherine, this means so and so and so. No, it's all of these things that are so rich. And when we hear someone else's dream, it becomes our dream. Yep. So being in a dream group is like communally dreaming together. And so one of the things that I do what I do the most is I teach workshops and I do dream groups in groups. I don't do one-on-one, generally speaking. I like that gather a group of people. If we're talking about zebras, maybe somebody's been on safari in the group. Maybe someone just came from the zoo and maybe another person was sketching zebra policies, or like you said, you wrap yourself up in a zebra blanket.
I do.
So that alone could be talking about your dream world, because I'm sleeping inside a zebra blanket. So each individual in the group, and maybe somebody is really frightened by zebras, or has always wanted to ride the back of a zebra, and then you find out, no, you can't do that. So there are so many ways of looking at an image that sharing a dream with just one person is very narrow, but sharing it with 4 or 5 or 6 people broadens the scope of it, and it energizes the dream in ways that we can't do with our own focus. And I would add that we are dreaming usually pictorially, we see like a movie, the dream. So we don't hear the puns and the idioms and the word plays. We don't hear it the way a stranger might hear it. So again, the working with other people just broadens the scope, because we're so tied into our own narrow version of the dream. We can't hear the broader implications.
The value of groups. Yeah, so Victoria, so should people go to your webpage to find out about these workshops that you host? Is it victoriadreams.com? Is that the best place to get in touch? That is
the best place. And it is under construction, so it's a beautiful website, but it doesn't have necessarily my ongoing workshops just yet. So the best thing to do is just contact me, and I will send you what's going on.
Right. Thank you. So you host what's called the Dreaming Arts Studio, and all the workshops that you offer in the groups.
Right.
But you can get on your email list by contacting Victoria. Thank you so much for being on the show, Victoria. I wonder if you have any final parting suggestions or encouragements for our listeners.
Well, I do like to encourage people to begin dream groups, and I do show up either on Zoom or in person. I love nothing better than to infect other people with the love of dreaming. I do podcasts, and I do book talks, and it is exciting to see how many people are eager to learn more about dreams. That for some reason, this is not one of the most popular topics around, and yet everyone, unless they're severely damaged, everyone dreams.
Yes.
So we're talking about a world population of fellow dreamers.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Victoria. Victoria Rabinowe, good to have you on the show, and look forward to chatting more soon.
Good.
All right. Bye now.
Thank you, Catherine. Bye-bye.
Bye. So thank you all for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, and we are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org. The podcast is released on the Monday after the show. It spreads interest in dreaming when you subscribe, rate, and review. Contact me if you'd like to be guest on the show and to promote a new book or to tell folks about your dream-related offerings. My name is Catherine Bell. You can find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. Email me at catherine@ksqd.org, KATHERINE. And follow Experiential Dreamwork and hashtag the Dream Journal on Facebook and Instagram. I'd like to thank Rick Cleffel, music engineer and music creator and music engineer as well. And the intro and outro pieces are both by Mood Science. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.
How's my boss? Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
I am happy to say we made the match for the Dream Journal. So thank you so much. So go ahead, ring the gong over there, Eric. That's it. Okay, thank you so much. Carry on.
It's all like a bad dream. Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn.
I've been manufactured to be loyal, kind of true. If I don't quite measure up,